Actually, Egypt, it was like many different districts, about 42 districts. And the king Narman who unified Upper Egypt, we call it the Upper Egypt, which meaning the southern or the south of Egypt. And he collect a big army and he fight in all north of Egypt one time.
Ooh, hello everybody, this is Fanny, live from the Egyptian Museum. I was gonna wait till I'm a little prettier to make a video because after the event there was so much download and things happening crazy in our mind and body that like literally my face swelled up. My face swelled up last night. I woke up, I have pink eye. It's going away a little bit, but I woke up with my eye like this and like spots all over my face. My lips were like double the size. My face was like a light bulb ready to blow up this morning. So I know it's like a body integration after everything that happened. The body is, I've explained that right before, then you're elevating and then you have a crash, kind of, you feel bad and because your consciousness is elevating but your body is behind trying to catch up. So yeah, definitely manifesting in a physical, but this is so incredible that I was like, okay, I have so much in my mind right now, I want to record it at the moment so I don't forget anything. See, I still have like spots on my face, like the sand, there's sand everywhere, breathing sand. I was spitting blood this morning. The food, oh my god, I ate meat this morning. I mean, there was meat in the food and I just like put it in my mouth and that just like, shocked my entire body. I spit it up. But intense experience, let's say, physically, mentally. But yeah, there is so much. So spiritually, all the event was amazing. The concerts, meeting people from all around the world with the same intention of raising the consciousness. It was beautiful, like Matthias said, in a country where meditation is forbidden, right? Managing to achieve that was incredible. And now a little bit of history. I was so I took a cab this morning to come here to the Grand Museum, the Egyptian Museum. But the cab took me by mistake to another museum, which ended up being great. The National Museum of Egyptian Civilization, which was really interesting for me because I saw all the mummies and sarcophagus, and that was very weird feeling to see these dead bodies mummified. And I was next to Nefertari's tomb and mummy, and somehow I was like channeling with her and having like this conversation. I was like, feeling bad, like how would it feel that your body was mummified so it would stay intact forever and in a sacred place, right, in the sarcophagus in the temple, and that now you're open in the open air in the museum and thousands of people are here staring at you every day, and so I had this double feeling of it is what it is. Somehow my body served for history, like for science, right? I gave my body for science so people would know of the greatness of the Egyptians and the culture of the Egyptians over the years. And for some other mummies, that was funny because while I was saying that, right after I went to another room and the mummies were far apart and we couldn't get near the mummies, and they were really far apart, and I felt like these specific ones didn't want to be approached, had their, like some people need to have their social distance more than others, and that if you would approach them too much, you would kind of have like be cursed or stuff like that, and I felt that as well when I had my pink eye this morning. It was like there are some places that are sacred and be respected. So, and then to learn to forgive and be in love, in love for what it's become. And yeah, then I went to this Egyptian museum now. It's amazing. I can't believe it. Look at this. I can remember being at many stages, right, in the social ladder, let's say, in Egypt, being a scribe. I know I was a scribe at some point for my passion to symbols and writing and being so meticulous. And every time I see those writings on the wall, I can literally see myself at some point with the little, writing on the stones like that. It's so incredible, like, wow. Scenes of history. But one advice that I gave to everybody really was reference everything. Reference everything that you have. Journal, record videos, write books, because years later, you forget, even though you say, I will never forget this, I will never forget this moment, but there are always details, things that I get back to my books. And then I was, oh my God, I forget about that. And just like right now, when I was in the pyramid, I did this weirdest thing. We were all chanting, and it was so hot in the pyramid. I didn't expect that. I had my sweater on, and it was so hot, like unbearable. Like I couldn't even breathe. And Matthias said, you guys can take your clothes off if you want. I'm going to turn off the light. So most of us, like even the girl next to me, like we all took our clothes off. We were like half naked in there, and I did this weirdest thing. I never do all these weird things, right? But I was just like pushing the energy up, and at some point I got up and I put my hand like this. I put my hands like this, just like I felt like was almost being crucified. I felt all this energy for all these people who want to be heard from all these generations and all around the earth, these nodes that we were working with, the people, the civilizations that have a voice that needs to be heard. And nowadays we only listen to celebrities. A celebrity says something, it's amazing, but if you say something, it's like, oh my God, here she is speaking again. That's actually literally, someone told me that. Then they were like, oh my God, you start speaking, it's like you can't stop. I'm like, literally the day after, Matthias said the exact same thing, and it was amazing. But if it's not come from the celebrity, it's like people are, oh my God, she's here preaching again. So this is really one of the frustration that I felt. Maybe that was before connecting with my node as well, the Siberia. These indigenous people who have been forgotten, and for the bigger contemporary civilization that came after, and that still have a voice that is unheard. And so I woke up, I felt like I was literally being crucified. I was like Jesus, and I did this weird, I would never do something like that. I really felt this Christ energy coming through me, and I wouldn't control even what I was doing. I was doing these weird energy things. There was an entity, and I was trying to send love to clear the space at the same time, because the entity, there was Matthias speaking, channeling the Archangel Gabriel, and there was this entity also that came and that was trying to counterbalance and wanted to be heard. When Matthias was speaking louder, the entity kept speaking louder, like, I want to be heard too. It's not because I'm an outcast, it's not because I'm representing the darkness. And I did feel as well like there was some feminine abuse, and I really felt that was coming back out, right? The traumas that buried under the carpet, and the outcast was like, no, I'm here to be heard as well. And most of the time they are the ones who needs the love the most. And so I'm saying this because just right now I'm seeing one of the sarcophagus, one of the tombs, and there is this woman with the chest naked and in this position, like exactly how I was in the pyramid, the position. I was blown away. I was like, oh my God. You see, that was not random. There is always, wow, like, ooh, I got goosebumps just saying that. So yeah, we are replaying scenarios. We are embodying all this culture, these divinities that were considered ancient history for all these years, but it's coming back to sacred. And the beauty of these written in the walls is that this was the Egyptians' way of making this culture last forever, of anchoring it in the matter forever. You know, the papyrus, beautiful, but in the rock, it's for millenniums, thousands and thousands of years, they will still be there. And this is why I work with my paintings on the canvas, the hard canvas, right? Because they can't be damaged, or really, they can be, but it would be more scratches than actually a canvas that is a lot more complicated to maintain, right? But I do feel like scribe was a really high position in Egypt because you were able to, the languages was conveyed from history. So I was a scribe, I remember that. I also remember another life when I was a priestess, and one of the girls from my node, actually from Siberia, Melia, as soon as I saw her, like I looked at her eyes, and even though she was wearing these kind of like hippie clothes, you know, I didn't see that. I saw her like wearing like a priestess dress, you know, gold and white and sandals and stuff. I remembered her like we were there together before. That was crazy. It's like, oh, I know you, you know, and like that was super intense. Like she was so sweet. And so yeah, beautiful, you know, when you see someone and you recognize each other like right away. And both the information that we brought was really different, very complementary. She was talking about, I was talking more something very general about the indigenous civilization, and she was talking about the story of this one woman, right? This one woman who was there in Siberia and then left for the city, but she kept on getting sick because she left her natural habitat. And even though she had more comfort in the city, she kept getting sick, and then she went back to her snow place, right? And her life was pretty much just surviving, like finding wood to heat the house, finding food, like the simple life. And sometimes, you know, I love the personal development, I love to trying to get better, but sometimes I'm like, if you always want more and more, trying to push yourself, you kind of forget like the simple life as well, you know. Sometimes I want to go back to this simple life, and my bag is really heavy. I'm carrying rocks. So I have my rocks, my team 143 rock. I have my twin flame rock in my bag. I'm carrying them all around because I feel like I have my team, my ancestors, and new friends and everything with me. But it hurts my back, and it also represents for me like how we've been carrying all this, you know, carrying all this knowledge and generations. I have this weight on my shoulders, you know. I feel it. That sometimes I want to escape and go back to the simple life, you know, and reconnect to the present moment without looking for success. You know, I'm tired of trying to make a living. I'm tired of trying to please people, trying to prove that I love or that I'm faithful, or, you know, there's nothing to prove. You trust or you don't. I mean, yeah. So, wow, all this. Anyways, this is how I feel right now. But I wanted to show that. This amazing museum. I'm going to continue before they closed. This is amazing. I'm so excited to be there. And I'm going to do a tour. I'm going to do a special tour. Something that you've never heard about. But it's a surprise. I'm going to go see some mummified baboons. So I'm going to see some underground cities and talk about ancient technologies with a specialist guy, actually, that tomorrow I'm going to go see Saqqara. So it's not really what I expected, but it's going to be unusual, off the beaten track. So why not bringing some new information that the grand public doesn't really know about. Yes. So that will be interesting. Why baboons? That's my question. Like they presented me that like we're gonna see something unique, like mummified baboons on the ground, and I was like, why baboons? Like what's going on with that? How did they find thousands of baboons and mummify them? What is there? I'm curious. I want to know. Like as weird as it sounds. Okay, so I just went to the room of Tutankhamun. Oh my god, there's no words. I'm just like I was in there, I wanted to cry. That was so beautiful. Like we couldn't take pictures unfortunately, but there's no you can't even picture how beautiful. Like unless you've seen it, look pictures online, but the sarcophagus of Tutankhamun and all the jewelry, the Isis, the scarabs, the knife, oh my god, the dagger. Wow. I can't even imagine how beautiful the gold, the Tutankhamun, the sarcophagus is completely made of gold and engravings there, and an empire and beauty and jewelry and richness everywhere. It's really here a country to come and see the archaeology, not so much to enjoy the landscape and look at the city, even though the people are really nice. The people are really, really nice, very welcoming, very caring. You know, I get in the taxi and they're always like, hey, call me back tomorrow. If you have a problem, you call me. Don't go there by yourself. It's not safe, you know. They want to know because they care for you. Or you go in a store, you're like, hey, do you sell like a SIM card? Yeah, no problem. Like even they don't have it, but it's like, stay here, I'll be right back. Like they will go turn the world upside down for you to go get you what you need, you know, also because they want to sell something. But they have great hearts. You can see the culture. How do we build back the empire, you know? They come inside the sarcophagus, you know, the Egyptians were the Monty priests, and priestesses. They were obsessed with death. They were obsessed with the cycle of death and rebirth. Because death is our main concern, right? Our health and our death. What is our fear in life? To die. That's not my fear. I'm not scared of dying. I'm more scared of lacking. Like, I'm more scared of not living a life of travel and getting whatever I want and enjoying life, I don't want a life of struggle, you know what I mean? I don't want a life where you can't eat what you want, where you can't travel where you want. You know, I'd rather die. I'm not scared of dying. Like, because I believe in reincarnation. I'd rather die than living in misery and in poverty, you know. And maybe that's bad because that's why I'm always broke and I'm not making enough of a sacrifice, you know, to build what I actually want. But yeah, they had this obsession for death and rebirth, and they were celebrating it. You see how they would prepare for years and building the sarcophagus and their tombs and everything because they wanted their death to be noble. For us, death is the end. You know, once you're dead, that's it. But for them, it was the beginning of like the other world's journey. That's why they decorated every there. So I wanted to cry. It was so beautiful. This beautiful museum. Got some potteries here. you know what? One of the things that blows my mind is that I'm seeing all these artifacts and I'm like, maybe I'm looking at some stuff that I made, you know, that if I was like a scribe or a potter in another life, and maybe a thing that like I created is now here in the museum and I'm looking at it, you know. I think of it sometimes when I look at art or things, and I'm like, wow, imagine that you get back and you're in front of something that you've created in another life. Maybe that's, or maybe we're looking at it right now. I don't know. What is she doing? She's cutting her hair. She's cutting his hair.
And the king Narman who unified Upper Egypt, we call it the Upper Egypt, which meaning the southern or the south of Egypt. And he collect a big army and he fight all north of Egypt one time, and he make Egypt as a united country for first time, which date back, like as I say, 3,200 years ago. By the way, Egypt have many different names, like Kemet. Kemet meaning black land, reference to fertility or cultivated land. When we look for a land which cultivated look like black, because in the old there is a lot of Nile flooding, and Nile flooding gave us a lot of mud break. That's why we call it black land, which call it Kemet. And also we have other name to Egypt like Tawi, which mean two bank of river Nile, east and west. And we have many different names like Idboy, which mean two kingdom, Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt, east, north and southern. After the King Imina, who make Egypt as a united country for the first time, he established his capital city in Memphis. It was a capital city, it was an important city before the unification time. But Mina, he take it as a first capital city of the human history, which in the other bank in the river Nile, and he take Saqqara as the first and the oldest cemetery sites to bury the royal mummy there. And they chose this place for many different reasons, which we call it Saqqara. The ancient Egyptians used this place to bury all mummy over there because a lot of dry that's help mummy to stay in good conditions for long time. And Saqqara name which call it Sakkara. That's because God, which you call it Seker. Seker is God of death or God of death. That's before unification times, and still like that. And Sakkara nowadays we say it's divided from the old name of the king Seker. And by the way, actually, I just give you a quick brief, and Mr. Yusuf, he have more experience than me, and he have a lot of secrets. He gonna tell you more than me in the side.
I think we found the spot. We found the spot. We are here in Sakkara. Sakkara. Yeah, it's Sakkara. Super peaceful place. I think this is a time travel portal. There's just a room in there with 3 mirrors. For me, it's like a past, present, and future tunnels. It's literally like a healing room. There's nothing in there. It's just a room. A resonance. Super peaceful in there. I want to take a picture. Ma petite bibi, ma petite princesse, c'est l'histoire de Bibi, ma Bibi jolie. Miam 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 miam. Meow 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 meow. Hello, hello. So I hope you enjoy my beautiful voice. Don't worry, you will have some actual music along the movie as well. You are taking a tour right now of Saqqara, the region south to Cairo. We're gonna go to Ashmunin to visit the Valley of Thought, a place where no tourist has been for 25 years. So this is a pretty incredible tour put together by Sandra, Maureen, and Youssef from Essence of the Stones. So you have their information right there. If you want to contact them, they are putting incredible tours. They're super nice. I can only recommend them. So now I'm going to read to you an extract of the Manifest Destiny Journal from Justin Carson. And on the next tour, for the Valley of Thought, of course, I will be reading some extracts from the Tablets of Emerald, from the Compendium of the Emerald Tablets by Billy Carson. The Hermetic Principle of Mentalism. The all is mind, the universe is mental. To start manifesting your reality, you must first understand that you are one with the Creator, thus giving you the ability to create. Human beings are creators, and we have manifested everything you see here on earth. Our thoughts lead to the manifestation of things and events. Everything in your reality is a manifestation of your mind. What you think and how you believe reality to work is true to you. Once you change your mind and can change the way you look at reality, and reality will change. Our thoughts create a state of existence and the quality of our experience here on earth. Therefore, be responsible for everything you create by being responsible for everything that you think. And these were the regeneration chambers that Billy Carson talks about often here under Sakura. I mean, not exactly Sakura, but nearby Sakura, in a place called the Serapeum.
This is this head. It's a sideway head. Her is the head facing you. Top is the, which where the word top, on top of, T-O-P, came from in English as well. Tep Joef means the one on top of his mount. The one responsible about the scrolls of linen. The city of mummification. Nib Tajesser means the Lord of the strong land. Qirsit F.M. Amenti will give a burial in the west. And the other one here or here, Haytibdi Lisu Haytibdi Uzir, also the royal bone giving to Osiris. Her Seshemit, if her what will follow you on all the roads, on all the beautiful roads. Sema if Ta in the unified land, ear in emitted in the west. Nefel EF will make you rise. You see here, this is the symbol of ascending. In Netra with the high gods. And here is the name of the priest repeated, Mehu, 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 again and again. Also his title, Reba means a royal prince, Semer Wa'ti means the solar companion, Ghari Heb Hari Sishita means the chanter and the keeper of the secrets. In Perdwat, in the house of the morning. Also some of his Taiti Sab Sati. The Taiti here, this sign is something like a curtain or a chapel where the king will be sitting. So to have the title Taiti means that he is the one who can access behind this and be so close to the king. Sab is like a mayor. Sati means a judge. Emer Nisud Sash means the overseer of the royal scribes. Emer Shinuti, the one that is responsible about the two storage places, and here too means Upper and Lower Egypt. Emer Peri Hajj, the one that the overseer of the two houses of the money, the two safes. Imachu, the honorable, Khair Netra'ah, recognized or known to the gods.
What is the star name in
Duat.
mean, with the, like...
Morning.
Oh, so it's a star in the morning? Like
Yeah, the
Venus?
morning star.
Is that Venus then?
It could be Sirius.
Oh, could be Sirius.
Yeah.
And the bee actually that you see in the center, the two...
B
Or-
is this, yes, this is the northern kingdom, because Upper and Lower Egypt, this is Lower Egypt.
And Yusuf, what's on top of the table?
Where? Here?
Yeah,
This is a repeated one just like that.
yeah. And what is that?
And this is him, and this is the offering table. According to the official story, this is a kind of bread, I doubt it. There are many symbols that we still might have be something else. And then this also figure that's called Kha, which is this or that, you can see it repeated more than once, is the number 1000. And then all the things that he is getting. 1000, that means like plenty of. So it's not just 1000, it's like a lot of this, a lot of that. These different types of geese, you see 5 different types of geese. Bulls, bread, wine, cakes. Beer and wine was invented in Egypt. Yeah.
This is a portal called False Door.
So this is why I wanted you to see this, of course, because to see how detailed all the documentations that they left. And there is nothing that is reflecting what I mentioned for you before about the ancient advanced technology. Some of the tombs will show more and rare things because each priest had his own things to do. So some has shipbuilding, some has domesticating animals and birds, some has all the different types of industries and the daily life scenes of how they lived their life.
Yusuf,
Yeah.
could you tell us a bit about that part on top?
The part on top is repeated, same like this.
No, I mean,
حتى دي امبو ميوت تب جو اف نبتا جسر كرست اف ام غيرت amended. So a royal bone given by, you mean the green or this?
Yeah, the green.
Oh, the green is, according to the official story, they think it's a representation of plants. But functionality, this is alternative information. We believe that this shape up there is an acoustic. It's connected to sound. Because, and this too,
Yeah.
this with that can affect or regulate sound to give you what we understand as the standing wave. And the standing wave is the one that can create resonance. Perhaps that dimensional gate could be opened when the frequency was right to allow this gate to be open.
So the portal, they would put the portal, was it like directly underneath?
Yes, usually the mummy will be in
Underneath.
below this.
And so when the soul goes up, they pass through the portal.
The car comes through the portal and it transfigures
So good.
on the body.
Yeah.
So what
Comes
was,
through here.
what was in this room?
This is an offering room. This is
Offering room.
yes. This shape down here is known as the hatim. And this is where the bones or the offerings will be given. It's the same one that is mentioned here. You see it?
Yeah.
This is that. And this is
Oh, yeah.
the offering table.
Thank you. Hello, my baby angel. I love you, I miss you. I am in the middle of nowhere in Egypt. There is a wedding, and I thought it's beautiful. I'll send you some pictures. How was your day, my baby? Beautiful morning! Hello, my friends! We're gonna have a walk this morning. Look at this, it's so beautiful. Beautiful! I'm so lucky. Mwah. Taking some good vibes here before we go back to the US. I really wanted to take him on a trip. Soaking in the sun. I always say when you have huge downloads of energies and you're elevating, you have a crash after, right? That happened. I was like almost suicidal like 2 days ago. For 2 days. It's really bad. It's really bad. It's really intense, the polarity. But yeah, it's the body adjusting. And now this morning I'm soaking in the sun and it's just like the most beautiful day of my life. Look at this. So wow, it's so important to know that, just to go through the crazy days. Yes, so excited. Okay, I need to go, they're waiting for me. We're in the middle of the nowhere, Egypt. Going to see some mummified baboons today. I finally got to get on a cruise last minute. Oh my god, I'm always so last minute. That's great. I was hilarious last night because I got my ticket for my cruise. It couldn't be any more last minute than that, but I found. Leaving tomorrow morning to see the Valley of the Kings. So excited. Have a good day, everybody. Mysteries there are in the cosmos that unveiled fill the world with their light. Let he who would be free from the bonds of darkness first divine the material from the immaterial, the fire from the earth. For know ye that as earth descends to earth, so also fires ascend unto fire and becomes one with fire. He who knows the fire that is within himself shall ascend unto the eternal fire, and dwell in it eternally. Fire, the inner fire, is the most potent of all force, for it overcomes all things and penetrates to all things of the earth. Man supports himself only on that which resists, so earth must resist man, else he exists not. All eyes do not see with the same vision, for to one an object appears of one form and color, and to a different eye of another. So also the infinite fire, changing from color to color, is never the same from day to day. Thus speak I, thought, of my wisdom, for a man is a fire burning bright through the night. Never is quenched in the veil of the darkness, never is quenched by the veil of the night. Into men's hearts I looked by my wisdom, found them not free from the bondage of strife, free from the toils thy fire, O my brother, lest it be buried in the shadow of night. Hark ye, O man, and list to this wisdom. Where do name and force cease? Only in consciousness, invisible, an infinite force of radiance bright, the forms that you create by brightening their vision are truly effects that follow thy cause. Man is a star bound to a body. Until the end, he is freed through his strife. Only by struggle and toiling thy utmost shall the star within thee bloom out in new life. He who knows the commencement of all things, free is his star from the realm of night.
Before is the name of the ancient Egyptian language, and it means the words of heaven or the divine words. most ancient story about creation was created here in Ashmonin or Chimenu, or as it's labeled in the Greco-Roman time, Hermopolis. This story was talking about, always the myth of creation is talking about the primordial ocean, like the famous one that was developed or passed down from the area of Un, or the one that was called during the Greco-Roman time as Heliopolis. But the one from here, from Ashmonin or from Chimenu, is the oldest according to the archaeologist records. So it is considered to be the primordial of primordial.
Primordial of
Primordial.
primordial of primordial.
Yes, the primeval of the primeval. The beginning of the beginning. Like that. So that water formation, or this primordial water formation or primordial ocean, was not here on earth, it was in the outer space. And it contained 8 different powers, 4 males and 4 females, and the leader was Jahut or Tas, as they call it. They were divided to 4 males and 4 females. The 2 powers of the primordial ocean itself is the Nu and Nu. Nu is the male, and the Nut with the T is the female. And they are the forum that has all the living forums in it, but in active.
Potential only. Like.
So in that there are the forces of everlasting or infinite power, and there were also 1 male and female known as Hihu and Hihut. Some archaeologists believe it's fire, some believe it's infinity, but I believe it's a combination of both. Fire is a symbol of power, of course, so it's the endless power. And then we have the male and female, that the representation of darkness, Kiku and Kikut. They are not darkness as some people like to say, that this is darkness that means evil. It's not evil. It is in the dark primordial ocean, beneath this darkness is the secret of life. And we have 2 other ones known as Gerh and Gerhet, and they are representation of the force of nature or the cycle, but in the inactive part or inactive part of the cycle. For example, when we say the silence before the storm, so it is the inactive power before and after, or before or after the cycle is active, like before the flood and after the flood, before the storm and after the storm. This is the Jerh and Jerh. So from that combination came, or from this understanding came the understanding or the other story that was developed in Heliopolis about creation and the primordial ocean and the other elements as well. Here is the part that I don't understand really, which is the academics are saying, because this story, as I told you, is very, very ancient. I can see when you explore more and research more about these elements, you find that it is so scientific about every detail in it. The thing is, some academics say this is the pure imagination of people who lived in the prehistory time. Imagine just the primitivity of these people who lived in the prehistory time, and how can they even imagine creation coming from outer space, and the cycle, and the inactive, and the active, and the dark forces that has the life in it, and all these kind of things. It doesn't fit in my opinion, and I believe from that there are some knowledge that was passed down from ancient advanced era, that we believe it could exist and could create all the mysteries that we see in the sites, like the pyramids and like the power tools and like the machines, some things like that. And of course, what happens is that same like the structures, they are transformed into some things. Sometimes the priest can use some elements or names or stories to use it to their benefit so they can control the masses. And you know, the whole idea of controlling the people in the name of religion, this is something that started here in Egypt, of course.
Yeah.
Sorry for that, but it was not my problem. And the same thing with the structure. We are in a huge archaeology site. This is what we have standing. Where is the rest of the structure? Also, the rest of the structures here were transformed. So not far from here, we see, you see these pillars over there?
Yeah.
This is a basilica. The basilica and many other things here, yeah, over there. These are all reconstruction of the same stones that existed here in the ancient world, and then they were recycled to reuse it as many other structures. Shall we go and explore around the area of the basilica?
Amazing information. Yeah. Awesome.
What is this site?
Awesome information by Youssef, our guide. Yes, as he mentioned, the new religions, they used to do that, to incorporate information from the existing cultures that were powerful, to integrate in their new preaching, right? To have the people adhere to it more passively, let's say, and over the years and generations replace it, right? With the new things that would be more controlling, right? There is one external God that is going to judge your actions. That is more, whereas the Egyptians and all the initial culture were all saying the same thing, that the divinity is within us, so giving the power to us, to the people. So this is how it's evolved. And he said also that the sites, most of the sites that were sacred have been constricted over, right? I explained this when I talked about the flower of life. Constricted over. So I'm so excited because I mentioned before how thought changed my life. Billy Carson, hi, if you're watching. Billy Carson retranscripted the tablets of emerald, forbidden knowledge. I'm subscribed to it. I can't wait to explore more of the programs. So as soon as I found out about the tablets of emerald, everything started shifting in my life, like amazing magic, time traveling and everything. And here we are in the village of thought. Okay, this is the origin village of the birth of like this knowledge, civilization, mathematics. Yes, like the monkey, he said, is the symbol of thought, and the mathematics, the language, all of that. So yeah, I'm so excited that we're here. See these giant monkeys, and now we're about to, and it's funny because it's kind of like, and each place has a keeper. Each of the sites we've been visiting always has a keeper that has the keys, right? I think this is so sacred, and this is rare. Not a lot of people come here. Yesterday, the village we went to, no tourists had been here for 20 years. So this is unique. It's like I had to take this painting here. It's crazy. It was like a mission. You know how you recollect the energy, you reconnect. I felt some powerful this morning. The sunrise was incredible. It's all green all around us. It's the first time I see some green here in Egypt since Cairo was all sand. I feel this strong energy right now. This painting is like activating. And funny enough, because the face of thought is like a bird, right? But his symbol is a monkey. All right, we gotta get going.
Life formation. Yeah. So that's why they talk about her as the one who was alive before life existed.
So the stories of the ocean came from here.
Like the primordial soup. No, this ocean is so mysterious, the one in the outer space. But the one down here is similar, the one that coming from Heliopolis or is similar to our official scientific story, because we know that it was all the primordial soup where all the life was in it as DNA or as life, but didn't take form. But until today, the scientists are not aware what kind of event or something happened that caused the creatures to take form. They know that the amino acid has all the live humans and animals.
I'm gonna make someone happy here. We get the alpha omega. Look at that.
Made a wave that's standing still in ocean. That's when life started to take form and then the primordial
Amazing. We get the
How can I look at the older structure from this? See, the amount of transformation here is similar to the amount of transformation that happened to the story itself. So this is not easy. It's not like I can go just and look for the book and read
But this
everything.
shows you because everybody
have
puts
to
their
look
stuff
at
on
this
top. Yep.
and see through it how many transformation, because the transformation possibly for sure here didn't happen once. We have here evidence of Ptolemy the Fourth. This or the fifth, sorry, Ptolemy the Fifth, which of course didn't go to Aswan and extracted this granite, because there used to be other structures all over the area that he can easily take it and build with it. So these structures had inscriptions of the new kingdom, but we still have other structures from the old kingdom, and we have the stories that goes to pre-dynastic time. Then the whole site used to have structures, probably, if we were right about the ancient megalithic or the ancient advanced era, then there used to be a huge megalithic structure here that was being transformed once and twice and 3 times and 4 times. Not just the structure, but the story as well will take many forms exactly the same until something from the very ancient times turns into a basilica.
Ptolemy King the Fourth. Actually, it was so aggressive king with the Egyptian temples that he didn't respect the people who worshipped and the priests in the temple. And he destroyed many stuff of the ancient Egyptian temples, and the ancient Egyptian make a lot of revolution against the Ptolemy King Fourth. And after that he died, and the Ptolemy King Fifth, he came, but the priestess make big meeting and tell him, please don't touch the temple of the ancient Egyptian people, because the ancient Egyptian, they actually monotheism from long time. So about here, the king Ptolemy V, he came here and he built these temples to worship. He built these temples here, and he was take care about all temples around all Egypt. That's why you know the famous story
Ptolemy
about
the Fifth. You're talking about Ptolemy the Fifth.
the fifth.
The fifth king Ptolemy.
Yes.
Ptolemy the Fifth.
Yes, Ptolemy King the Fifth
Was the one responsible for a lot of the restoration.
Yes, he made restoration here.
Dandura and all that.
Yes, that's why the all priesthood or priestess make another meeting in Memphis, and they write the famous decree which called Rosetta Stone. Rosetta Stone. Rosetta Stone, it's considered the key of the ancient Egyptian history.
You're saying that the
decode.
Rosetta Stone was representing the decree of Ptolemy the Fifth.
Fifth, yes.
To say that he was going to resurrect all the old temples.
It's like thanks letter, and they actually it was like yes.
So if I can recap what you just said, original Ptolemies after Alexander the Great came here, they did not respect the ancient.
The fourth
was
number 4. Yes.
The number 4.
That's why the ancient Egyptian.
The first 4 did not. Ptolemy the first, the second, the third, and the fourth did not respect.
But especially the fourth, he destroyed many temples. That's why the ancient Egyptian make a lot of revolution against him.
Okay.
After he died, the priestess make a meeting in Memphis and tell the new one, the Ptolemy Fifth, please be careful with the ancient Egyptian people and be careful with the temples. So he take care about all temples, and he make restructuration or restoration for the temple.
And that's what's in London, that was the decree in London that
Yes.
sits now as the...
Yes, in London, yes.
And so now, as a result of
Yes.
that, we have Dandora restored
Yes.
and the other Ptolemaic. So you trace this all to
Yes.
Ptolemy V and
Yes.
after his successors?
Yes, that's why
That is very
the priest
interesting.
is-
That's something I did
yes,
not
that's
know.
why the priest is derived the decree which we located now, the replica, not the original one. The original Rosetta Stone in England,
Yeah, I've
but
seen
the
it.
replica which have it in ancient in the Egyptian museum, which have 3 parts: hieroglyphic, demotic, and Latin language.
Lucky thing they did that.
Yes,
or
he
else we
decoued.
wouldn't be able to
Yes.
read any of this stuff.
Yes, and
very cool.
yes.
I did not know
Yes,
that.
thank you, sir.
Thank you for bringing that.
Yes. And this is one of the enclosure wall which was around the temples, and after that the temple became as a church, cathedral church like Vatican nowadays, and actually the king make it for a charity to collect the money for a poor people.
So this Ptolemy V was a special guy.
Yes,
He
special guy.
was a loved king.
Yes.
And we need to research that.
Yes,
I knew nothing.
That's why the ancient Egyptian priests write a decree like Sankis letter, which called Rosetta Stone. They say Sankis Ptolemy V the king for you.
This place with the monkeys and all this Greco-Roman site, all this is called Ashmunin. And Jacqueline was asking me, why did you bring the painting? Like, did you know you were going to come here? I was like, I didn't know I was going to come here. It's like, I have this calling. Oh, I have to paint this thought, right? And then the day before taking the trip, I'm like, oh my God, I have to take it to Egypt. It's not like I planned it all. It's like instant channel and intuitions. I have to paint this. Oh, I have to take it to Egypt. Then next thing you know, I thought I was going to stay in Cairo, do some other stuff, and I meet Sandra, and she's like, oh, we're going to this very rare excursions to this village of thought. I'm like, what? All right, call me in, I'm going. And then I get to the village, and I'm like, okay, I need to take the painting there. He needs to see, like, hey, what's happening in my village. So you don't always understand right away why you're doing something, but in the universal plan, there is this divine timing that in the end you put the pieces of the puzzle all together and you understand. You're like, wow, this is incredible.
Receiving from his father Seti the First. And also here is Seti the Second. Merempetah. Usir Khibru Ra. And here we can see the title of the king. Of course, Nisubiti. Neftawi, the lord of Upper and Lower Egypt, and then the name Sara Nebcha'u, and then his birth name, of course, as city. And then we can see here Jehuti Neb.
Is it?
The Lord of the Eight.
Wow.
The Lord of the Eight, because Ashmunin means
It's about
eight.
the
This
Lord
is
of
the
the
Ashmuni.
Eight.
Huh?
The number of infinity. The city where I'm at right now is called Ashmunin, which means eight.
8 main gods
The jet
and
pillar
hot
is
in
a
the top.
symbol of
Top on
stability.
the top, yeah.
Look at it up there.
But is it also
He will have behind him stability
Where is the
and
jet
power.
pillar? Where
Up
is
there.
Oh,
see
I
his
see.
crown has the two cobras.
I see it.
The cobra over here.
Oh, wow.
the jet pillar is up here.
Why Cobra?
Protection. It was
up
the
there.
all gods for Upper Egypt.
There was
Pre-history, the all gods for
excited.
protection for Upper
Oh my
Egypt.
God.
The all gods.
can't believe
yes.
it.
the all gods?
Yes, call it Wajid.
The older. The older.
The older.
Wajid.
Wajid. Call it
Is
Wajid.
the Cobra?
Wajid is
Yes.
the cobra. And it also became famous as, when it became the one on the crown, it was labeled as Ar'at.
Alright, yes.
And it means, Wajid means the complete as well.
Yes. Those two main gods, one for Upper Egypt, call it Wajid, and in Lower Egypt, call it Nekhbet.
Yes.
Both of them
Nekhbet is the vulture.
Yes.
So the famous again vulture and the serpent
Yes.
or the cobra together as our representation of unification.
So Wajid and Nekhbet, this is pre-history, but after that, during unification time, we have Nisu Piti, of actually it's also royal signs. But when you see Wajid, Nekhbet, Nisu Piti, that mean as a king of Upper and Lower Egypt. Pre-dynastic or pre-history, we see Wajid and Nekhbet only. After unification time, we see Nisu and Pit.
Can you tell us about Thought? Can you tell us about Thought?
Which one? This cartoon, the name, the king name?
Thought.
Oh, Thought, yeah. He which forming like ibis bird, have his private crown. Sometimes we forming the gods as the animals, and sometimes human body with animal face. Just forming. And
There
the
is a part here that is damaged a little one. So they're putting the titles of the king and then they say Mer, the beloved of Thoth, the Lord of the Eight, or the Master of the Eight. But the sign here was damaged. I could realize it on the other side more. So the full inscription here now, the other side is dedicated to Amun-Ra.
yes, Amun in left side.
Thieves. So they can never be unloyal to Amun-Ra, even that this is the era of Jehuti. So the same thing, life. Ankh. There is a Ankh here as well.
Oh.
Part of it is
Ankh.
To the king of Upper and Lower
Ankh.
Egypt. City, the second, and then Sarah, the son of the sun. Nebcha'u, the lord of risings, and then his birth name, of course, Seti,
First?
yeah,
Yes.
Seti Merim Bita. And then here, Mer, Ammon, Ra, Nisu, Zitru, which means the beloved of Amun-Ra. Why they didn't put Mer here in front? Because usually when they put the name of a lord or a god, they put it in the front, even for respect, even if it's going to be pronounced afterwards.
Ooh, I had to go back to get the painting. Oh my god. 4 minutes 44. Amun-Ra, that means the king of the king. No, but seriously, I can't believe it. He's coming back to this temple. I had no idea I would ever come here. I mean, okay, so I'm gonna make a lot of people happy today. Billy Carson, if you're watching, author of the Tablets of Emerald, he retranscribed all the Tablets of Emerald with the explanations and everything. I don't think you guys have come here. This is a unique place. No one takes a tour here. They really put this together because Marsha, who's with us here, was dreaming coming to this place where we were yesterday, like 50 years, and happened to be around that area. I'm like blown away how destiny just takes us to these places. Okay, look at that. There. They were all clapping there. That was cool. Look at that. Oh my god, and the sun right behind.
We're going this way, right?
Yes.
Evidence of the site transformation. If you want to go from the newest to the oldest, then you have the basilica from the 5th century AD, and then you have the ruins of Ptolemy V from the Greco-Roman, and then you have Seti II from the New Kingdom, and then you have the older one from Amenhotep, also New Kingdom but older dynasty, and then you have what's remaining here from the Middle Kingdom time.
This is the Temple of Thoth.
Yes, and this is part of the Temple of Thoth during the Middle Kingdom, and some archaeology opinions believes that this could be part of the Jisr Jisru or the Holy of Holies, where there would be usually altars from granite or devices like boxes with a lid or something like that, that then of course will be taken to be repurposed. So
What kind of devices?
Elephantine Islands, the
Yeah.
ruins of that temple there, the box is different. It's a vertical box. You know?
Elephantine Island, yes,
Elephantine
yes.
Island, the
This is
canoe.
another, it's a shrine, labeled as a shrine. It used to house also, or it was the device and then later they would put inside, yeah.
Okay, but you know what I mean? How it's
I
like
know what you mean.
a standing box.
It's a very good example that you brought. Okay, we see these devices and we see that they, like the one in Elephantine Island, doesn't have any inscriptions. And then we find another one. This other one is housed inside the Holy of Holies, exactly, of the temple of Horus in Edfu. The temple of Horus in Edfu is related to the Greco-Roman. Yet, the piece that's in the middle of the Holy of Holies is inscribed by Nekhtinebu from the 30th dynasty, which seems to be another usurper of ancient artifacts as well that he's claiming. In my opinion, the ancients knew about the power of these pieces, so when they built a new structure, they will bring a device with the old vibration and house it in the Holy of Holies to give it the vibration of the ancient structure once again, to power that ancient, modern structure at the time with a device from the ancient times.
Amazing.
Those standing devices, standing structures, standing boxes.
Powerful devices, power devices. But don't think of it again as a separate piece. It's a unit in a much larger.
Part of the
Yeah,
amplification.
exactly. And when I explore around the Elephantine Island complex that is also related to Alexander, so supposedly Greco-Roman, it's reflecting exactly the same stone masonry or very similar stone masonry to the one that is reflected in the Valley Temple of the Middle Pyramid of
It's
Complex.
got those ancient, like Sacsayhuaman in Peru.
Exactly.
It's got the exact same kind of stonework.
Yeah. And the structures also here in Egypt, I will say it's more confusing because the dynastic Egyptians, again, if we were right about the ancient advanced era, the confusing part is that the dynastic Egyptians developed stone masonry and the capability of sculpting that confuses researchers to tell the separations between the layers. But in South America, for those who traveled, like I've been there more than once thanks to my dear friend Brian Forster and his wife Irene, they invited us over there, and there it's not very difficult because the Inca civilization was not as powerful as the dynastic civilization. So their stone masonry and what they achieved on the site, you can easily tell
Who did what?
who did what. Like there is a layer of very sophisticated and megalithic, and then there is another one with pieces that like this.
I have a Okay guys, so what you're seeing right now is my anti-gravity formula. This is pretty much the answer to a lot of questions on how they were moving rocks and able to lift spaceships. As you can see, the matter can levitate with the sound by having two frequencies, a low frequency and a high frequencies, and having the waves of sound bounce back on the matter that is between the two waves and frequencies and pretty much levitate like this. Like when you have your hand nearby a speaker and you have the bass, bouncing waves of sound, you can feel on your hand the push, right? These are vibrations of sound that are very physical and not just auditive or intangible. So by working with those waves is how you are able to manipulate the weight of an object. So two frequencies, a low frequency and a higher frequency that is 11 times higher, by the way. This has been made by a research on the mind, not on matter, on the mind, that they found that people were able to heal depression and elevate their mind like that by the use of two frequencies working with their right ear and left ear or something like that. So I would assume that it works as well for the matter. And this is actually why many geniuses are also musicians, because they feel like as they create, their mind, their consciousness is elevating. So this will solve a lot of problems. It's not just about new technology, it's new technology that is clean and totally recyclable, renewable, sustainable, that can prevent the use of oil and combustion-based energies to solve the climate crisis. I have a question. So what does Saqqara mean? Literally,
Saqqara?
the translation, what does it mean?
Saqqara is coming from an ancient Egyptian name for one of the knitters called Sukkar. Sukkar has a title called Sukkar Nib Rastau. Means the Lord of the Rastau. Rastau is the entrance to the passage of the underground tunnel.
Because when we visited Serapeum, right, you said it's like a part of a most giant network, right? And Sacsayhuaman in Peru means the head of the puma. So it's kind of like this giant network that maybe starts there to the head, and here that would be like the end of it.
Excavation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yes, of course it is. But also when I said that the Serapeum could be part of something much more big, and this is only the subterranean part of it, this is my own opinion.
Yeah,
based on what I study and what I try to connect between what's running underground on the Giza Plateau and what's above, which is separated by the archaeologists, except of course for the Osirian shaft, because it's in the middle of the complex. But there are many other shafts that they are separating in them from the pyramid complex. And when I researched about it, I found that only burials from the site period, which is the late period, was housed over there. And I know this period to be settling and also repurposing many of the structures during their time.
So when you talk about a device, like, do you have any places? Because I've seen in one of the videos from Billy Carson, he's showing in one of the hieroglyphs like how they had these, or even like things that look like Nikola Tesla's like engineering, how they have these kind of devices. Do you have an idea what it looked like?
Perhaps it was active in a different way. The material itself is different. The force of energy that it's conducting or harnessing is different. But I could see why it's not what they think it is, because they think it's just a shrine to house the statue of the idol in the inside. And this is something that is not authentic in my opinion. Why? I have searched some of those that is located in the Egyptian Museum, and I could see that chiseling happened so they can fit the base of that statue that they are going to put inside the shrine. And so it gave me the conclusive evidence that it was not done originally to put the statue of Horus inside, as it was, yes,
to the energy device.
but it was enlarged, or they made a space for it by chiseling so they can house the statue. So it fits with the idea that it was not originally made for the statue. Another thing, the priests dug a hole randomly also by pounding on the side of these shrines so they can imitate sounds inside it. And this is something that shows that they are repurposing something that was already there. They are reflecting in many cases the surfaces that shows that they were done with a very accurate and very precision machining. doesn't fit with the inscriptions that most of them had, which goes back to the time of Nechtinibu from the 30th dynasty. Plus the story that we were just talking about, how the one in Edfu temple looks much more ancient, exactly like the one falling on its side in Elephantine Island. And in Elephantine Island there are evidence, archaeological evidence of all the eras, from the prehistory to the pre-dynastic to the archaic age, Old Kingdom, Middle Kingdom, New Kingdom, until the Islamic. So there is like all the eras are located in that site.
Yeah, well, I was there, William, and we were looking at the Jewish settlement. But I want to ask you, is this effort to repurpose temples and put devices in them a overreaching continuance of a plan to do what we did at the pyramids, like where we were reestablishing or recalibrating the energetic grid of the planet?
Which one? There are some that is like that, because they even lift in the foundation some of the pieces of the older structure, just if somebody came and they will know that. And sometimes they lift in inscriptions, like the one that is given by Alexander, that he did this for Hotep originally built. It's inscribed. Also like the chapel of Sekhmet that was taken during the Greco-Roman time, they also said we renovated something that was here before, and they put the old name of the old king, but this old king is from the new kingdom.
Yeah.
Unlike others. So not all of them was like that. There were some that were like that, and then there were some that's like, okay, it's my world now. I made the monument. And he even laid these inscriptions over older inscriptions.
Alexander did?
No. Merim Petah, the successor of Ramses II.
Oh, okay.
And like father, like son.
What do you think is
They both were the best usurpers of
of how in the Serapeum all the boxes except for one were found open?
Yeah.
What do you think about
This is
that?
really mysterious, but I think, in my opinion, in my feelings, that those who opened the rest of the boxes got disappointed after they found all of them were empty. If they found all of them full and they took goods, they would never leave this one sealed.
Closed, right? Yeah.
Huh? So it's like, okay, we opened all of them and all of them were empty. Like, okay.
But it's also like how were they open?
Yeah, only one.
The device.
Because the most recent one, they only opened it with dynamite, right?
With explosives.
Yeah, so
with
how in the heck did
gunpowder.
whoever slid those other ones open?
Yeah, you will be surprised how much Tomb Raiders can do. If you know that this might have the wealth that will make you live happily ever after, my goodness.
Yeah.
We will
So
like some attempts for people who like to dig because they just think there is a tomb underneath their house. You saw that.
But if a Tomb
You
Raider
saw that
was able
huge
to-
well that so they can go down this much and they can risk their lives. Many Tomb Raiders died.
Sure. But if a Tomb Raider
seeking
was
treasure.
able to just slide the lid open, why did the scientists and archaeologists have to blow one up to open it?
Because it was the easier way to do it at the time. Because maybe these Tomb Raiders were in much older time.
Yeah, they didn't have the...
Huh?
So here she is talking about the regeneration chambers. So the Tomb Raiders thought that this would be full of treasures, when other theories say that these are healing chambers. So they are engraved and carrying frequencies in the stones themselves. Because let's remember that the minerals are alive. Okay, everybody who takes ayahuasca or has a deep connection to Pachamama comes back and tells you everything has a soul, the plants have a soul, the minerals have a soul, okay? And by the power of symbol, engraving them, placing them to certain directions, alignment with the stars, all these factors make that they resonate at different frequencies, and that by being in contact with them, you adjusting your own frequencies. If you look at the research from the Resonance Science Foundation, you can tell that the flower of life itself has a different frequencies. That's why you can program the water by using coasters with the flower of life, or wearing a shirt with some symbols. Now you don't even have to go through medicine or chemicals or actually ingesting things. By just wearing something, you can align your own frequencies. But of course, this is preventive medicine that works a lot better when you're already healthy and keep it that way. Then when you have a disease that is already inside of your body, that what is a disease is just an accumulation of frequencies and blockages in your body that have accumulated so much that they became physical, right? So it's a lot harder to dismantle a knot that is physical than a knot that is energetic, right? So the point is to prevent before this happens and to constantly work with your energies. And this is why I promote the art so much, and this is why all the Egyptians were engraving their sarcophagus, their rocks, their temples, because they knew instantly you come inside a pyramid or you come inside a temple, it's like a wave of energy right away. So subliminally enters and reprograms your soul as well. So I'm voluntarily leaving a lot of information from the guide, from my research, so you can make your own, from what is listened to in the schools, from his theories, from our guys, from my theories. You can make your own mix and decide what resonates with you. And now I'm about to ask the same question for the third time. That says what happened when you're obsessed. But this is actually what I wanted to hear and have confirmation for in terms of my levitation anti-gravity formula and the structure of the steel and the material itself. That's one of the questions that is still unsolved. Are we using steel or are we using granite, knowing that most of the pyramids are made of a mix between granite and quartz, and very organic, and we know that the spaceships are able to disappear in the sky and move dimensions. So is steel granite? Is it a mix of steel and granite? You need to have organic matter inside, or does it really not matter? Because once you go through a time travel portal, like William Brown has been researching and talking about from the Resonance Science Foundation, maybe it doesn't really matter what material you've been using, because you're manipulating the structure of space itself. But maybe some will be more easy to manipulate and reconstitute. I don't know. This is a great question to ask to a scientist. So I encourage you to go watch the Resonance Science Foundation, all the elective courses, and mostly follow them on their Facebook, because they often share very good, very interesting articles that I hope many people are seeing, because this is where we're at right now in terms of technology. We are talking about space-time travel and teleportation, tunnels, and stuff like that. So one more question. When you're space traveling or space-time traveling in one of these tunnels, is your body and your cells deconstructed to be mirror reconstructed on the other side of the tunnel? Is your body matter stretched through the tunnel? Or are you crossing it exactly the way you are with no alteration to your body mass or shape or structure, and you're pretty much just traveling in it? Or are you actually, is there a deconstruction and reconstruction process? I mean, the answer seems obvious that you're probably just traveling through that tunnel, but it's not that obvious. You have to study the process of the cells to that, because if you're stretching time and you're stretching the matter, how do you protect the element that is traveling through it, through that tunnel, to not be damaged in the process? So if someone from the Resonance Science Foundation is listening, this is for you. So those devices you were mentioning, that you think it's like a mix of like quartz and sound, like technology that is mixing like crystals and
most of them
sound.
is made from granite. The other thing I want to add to why I don't feel that it was originally made, that this was a tradition, in Coptic Cairo, in one of the places, I hope this is still open to the visitors. One of these shrines is made or carved out of quartzite, and instead of Horus, there is an image of Jesus Christ inside it.
In Coptic Cairo?
In Coptic Cairo. I have a photo of it. I can share it.
So somebody
with-
put that there.
Yeah, the inheritors who used this shrine as something, but the tradition is still alive. So instead of putting Horus, they put Jesus.
That's the same story.
Almost.
Yay! Our amazing guide Yusuf. I said our amazing guide Yusuf. Thanks, so cool. And Ali and our team.
The way that those
yay.
devices work is there anti-gravity?
This is a test. And then the activation is another mystery.
Okay.
So the power tools is there for sure because we can see it reflected on the surface.
Yeah, on the boxes.
But
yeah.
how they moved some of the megalithic blocks, especially underground
Yeah,
tunnels and
yeah.
things like that,
Yeah.
then there are many people who talked about anti-gravity
Yeah.
possibility.
But the devices themselves are created, are there to do what? To activate?
To activate some of the power of design, we can see that this shrine, for example, has a bend stone on top. It's a pyramidion.
Yeah.
And the pyramidion shape, even if you made it from paper, it will still create the activation because it's the geometrical
Yeah, it's
Where
the
do you
shape
see
as
the
well
the
that
power of
connects.
design. But it's not just that. The material itself has that
Conductor.
and the
Where you
align.
see
What is
the
going on?
pyramid?
Nancy's gone off. He's gone
Nancy!
Where's the pyramid?
This is so awesome. We are lucky, gifted with some awesome guides. Oh my god.
Pyramidion shape is on top of the device.
Escorted by the military and everything.
The granite shrine that is falling outside. Its head is a pyramid. You don't remember that?
I have to look at my footage.
Look at your photo.
priesthood, which we call it Pituzuris. Pituzuris. It was Egyptian man, and he lived in Egypt during the Latin here in Egypt, during the Greek-Roman time, and he made his private tomb in this location because he was the high or the chief of priestess of the god Tooth or Thot or Thot. Here we can see there is marriage together between the art of the ancient Egyptian, the art of Greece. As we can see here, this is hall and columns. It's related to the ancient Egyptian art. Look like ancient Egyptian art. When you go inside the tomb, you will see how they decorated like Greek-Roman art. And this wall also we can see the people which farming or harvest and daily life. It's not ancient Egyptian way. This is related to the Greek-Roman art.
What do you want to say, Mr. Ali?
Because
I understand that this looks odd because it's 300 BC and the fashion was changed.
Yes.
So there are two opinions here. That some people believe that this was done by the Greeks and the Romans. I am against this opinion, by the way. This is pure Egyptian symbolism. It's only during that time. That's why they can change the anatomy according to the people that live. But do we have scenes that this is 300 BC? We have the same scenes from 4,400 years ago, from 2,000 years before that. At least we have the same scenes, such as, and we have seen this in Saqqara. Developing the baby of the cow, milking the cow, manufacturing, making the wine. You remember this?
Yeah.
But look also carefully, especially my friend Ali, that priest lived between two different invasions,
Yes.
the Persian and the Greek and Romans.
Yes.
So here there are some scenes that looks Persian as well. Look at what are they manufacturing here. Look.
Instruments.
You know this? The two horses back to back. You can find this actually both in Babylonian or in Persian and in Roman.
Carving.
These carvings and this manufacturing, all these are not far from the ancient Egyptian civilization, because this is depictions of the daily life activities and the crafts that they are doing. And here, the record keeper who puts all the inventory. We have seen this in the old kingdom tombs. So the idea here is that the art is reflecting the era, but the symbolism and everything that is in the tomb is
older.
Yes, is ancient Egyptian. Look, this is when they are harvesting the grapes. We have seen this in the tomb of Betah Hatib, for those who came with us on the Saqqara day. Yet there are still like that original. So that's where the symbol Omega came from. And the Shin is the symbol that got stretched and became the Khartouche.
That I'm wearing? Yes, a cartouche. Yes, I got it.
Cartouche, of course, because this look like the cartridges of the shotgun, but its original name is Shin.
Shem.
Shin with N.
Shen.
Shin. Yeah. Nibhat.
The cosmic egg area right here, the words to be spoken. It's the cosmic egg by the mother nature right here. Mother nature.
Anything
Symbol of
up there
Isis.
for us?
Isis right here.
What's this thing in the middle?
This is the primordial. Look, this is cryptograph.
They're the aliens again. You see them?
That's the guy.
This is some
The star.
On the end.
And I see that the
She is seated. She is seated on the mirror, and the tit.
Yes.
Right?
The jet.
Jet and the tit.
What is that?
The jet is for Uzair, and the tit is for Isis.
Isis and Uzair.
What is Uzair?
Osiris and Isis.
Oh,
Is a
Osiris.
brother and wife same time.
Oh. Isis and Osiris? To me?
Osiris, he get wife from Isis.
So what are these guys? This is a sign you made.
This is like the Ankh. It's like people with the Ankh sign on it. It's like little aliens and little rockets.
Here, first time in the history.
Can someone take my phone's dead? Can you take a picture and send it to us?
Yeah. To me, it looks like a little energy device with like connector and cables and this thing and rockets. See? Obviously.
I don't understand what they said it
A
was.
proof of time traveling. He said that this is Isis and Osiris. It's like Ankhs, but in a character, in a people's shapes. And this is look like a lighthouse almost with like cables. But no, he says that it's Isis and Osiris.
What is Isis and Osiris? Like, the Isis and Osiris? Like,
That
he
isn't.
said this. Isis and
I don't
Osiris.
buy it.
I don't buy it.
It looks like little aliens.
وهنا طبعا بيقول لك ان المفروض ان العين بيطلع بدماغه الطفل يعني هنا طالع رجله
Oh my goodness. Woohoo! This is incredible. The scarab right here. I keep dreaming of the scarab. I mean, actually, I dreamt about the scarab once, but I keep rethinking of it all the time. Hello! Je suis sur un bateau sur le Nil. Je vais faire une croisière de 4 jours. J'ai décidé ça au dernier moment, j'allais pas le faire et puis j'allais pas le faire. Je me disais j'ai pas envie de me dépêcher, j'ai pas le temps. Et puis finalement, je me suis dit non mais c'est quand même con de venir en Égypte et de pas faire la vallée des rois et tout. J'ai trouvé un tour la dernière minute pour 4 jours tout compris, machin, $500. Laisse tomber, on est traités comme des rois, des princesses, c'est trop génial. Trop contente. Au Caire c'était un peu le bordel. Donc voilà, on va faire un petit tour en bateau. Trop contente. Hello my angel, how are you my baby? I wanna say good morning. I'm on a boat. Look at my big boat. I'm gonna be on a boat for 4 days to visit some beautiful places. I love you. I hope you have a good day in school today. I love you, my angel. I will see you Friday. Call me tonight, okay?
Yes, Russia as well. From different countries. They stay here the whole winter because of our good weather, and then they fly at the end. When at the beginning of September, you only find these troops coming. Just stay on the Nile Strait and then look to them coming to us and landing here. So that's why, by the order of the Egyptian government, all of the other islands here in the Nile considered to be like naturally reserved islands.
Wow.
No hunting, no building. And straight facing you, there, this is the botanical garden.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, botanical garden. To the right. Okay? Yes, there. This island, the botanical garden, one of the biggest.
I follow you give you my love, but you don't care. So what is right?
No more.
No more. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me, no. Don't hurt me, no. No more. What is love? What is love? What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. No, don't hurt me. No, no more. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk on the waters wherever you may call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of the Creator. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk on the waters wherever you may call me.
Pachamama, I'm coming home to the place where I belong. be free, so free. Na, na, there. Na, 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 na. We saw the grandmother Pachamama today. She gave me a kiss. Oh my god. What a blessing. Just in the altar room. Crazy. What a coincidence. Pachamama, I'm coming home to the place where I belong. Hello everybody, good morning. This is Fanny, live from Abu Simbel. I'm so excited, and I learned this morning it's Tony Robbins' birthday today, so a special video for you, Tony. Happy birthday today. So happy for you. And you know what? I realized that you were born on February 29th, so technically you have like one birthday every 4 years, so technically you're like 15 years old. But that's okay, because you know, in Egypt the king started ruling at 10 years old, and it's so funny because you see every 4 years, and there's 4 statues here, and this is the statue of Ramses II at 4 different stages of his life. So that's crazy. What a perfect day, like, to end up here and see your birthday. And also I end up on the cruise yesterday with the Abuela Pachamama that was there for the event. So really there's no coincidence, it's all written in destiny, you know. So for your birthday, I'm making a wish. You know, I bought this Aladdin's lamp, and so my first wishes was to attract love in my life. And love not just in my relationships, but also in what I do, and keep the love and the passion in what I do, and that have an impact in each of our lives, but also into the world. My second wish was to do this cruise that I decided to come last minute. I was gonna stay in Cairo, and then I was like, no, I can't come to Egypt and not visit the Valley of the Kings, and to be here today, so it's happening. And I had one more wish left, so my last wish is gonna be for you, for your birthday, that I wish that you become our next president of the United States, make this world as empowering as you know how to do it. You're amazing. Truly, like, I don't always understand everything, you know, you're all what you do and your shenanigans and stuff, but you know, from the heart you can feel the people and everything that you say. You know, there's some things that you say that really stick with me and that I always remember, and we really love you and wish you the best birthday ever. One of many, you know, but that every day keeps being beautiful for you and for everybody, every life that you touch. Let's go for a little tour.
Hey Tony! With different features of the face, they are all the same. Man, the same statue, the same king, but different features. Could be they used to, or they would like to represent Ramses in different ages. Like when he was young, old age, man, or so. One of them fall down. It's from the beginning. Since the time of Ramses II, this statue fell down. We didn't repair it, or we didn't fix it. So that's why when we relocate the temple, we kept it as it is. It became part of the history. So we agree, restoration, relocation, never to change the history. History must be as it is. So that's why we left it, and we didn't fix it. Between the legs of each statue, you will find royals. Who are the royals? Like children for the king, wives, could be his mother, and so on, representing the royal family or his royal family. Ramses dedicated this temple in honor of Ra-Hu-Akht, God Ra-Hu-Akht. We all have been to Cairo because we come to Upper Egypt, so we know Ra. Who is Ra? The sun god. Hur comes from Horus, the falcon-headed god. Ra-Hu-Akht. Ra and Horus combined together to protect Akhti, to protect the horizon, or to protect the world. So over on top of the gate, you will find Ra-Hu-Akht, a falcon-headed god with a sun disk on top of his head. He is Ra-Hu-Akht, looking to the horizon, protecting the world. Can you see it?
Yeah,
Top of the gate.
in the middle.
Both sides, you are.
Oh, so the face is the face of the falcon.
The falcon, yeah. Hur or Horus.
Yeah.
So both sides, you will find the king making offerings or praying for Ra-Hu-Akht. When you go inside, as we agreed, we have two colonnades.
Yeah.
The first one and the second one. The first one represents the king as a great warrior king. So it is having military scenes, supported by 8 pillars, 4 each side. Each pillar fronted by Micha.
This is impressive when you come here. Oh my god, look at this. Look at the size of that leg, man. Horus. Everywhere, like everywhere, this entire place, the walls. Can you even tell? Oh, look at this one. I love that. Look at this. Simza. Okay, look at this one. This is super interesting. I love that. Okay, you see this one? You see how he has 2 arms? He's aiming with the arc, the archer. He has 2 arms, meaning his arm and the arm of God, right? Because they're royals, they're always guided. This connection with the gods. This is pretty crazy because literally I bought this the lamp in Cairo, and there was this image on the bag, and I put my little wish to go there. I didn't even know it was here. I didn't know about Abu Simbel, and it was right here. And it's crazy because some scenes that I see here and stuff that I say or that I write, that just come to me, and I write things. I don't necessarily why I put it this way, and then I get to the temple and I see the scene, and I'm like, wow, it's like I was already in that timeline. That just blows me away. Like, for example, this scene. This one, I know it is. See, he's punishing some guy here, and I was writing on my Facebook. I was like, oh, you know, I understand why, like, oh, there's bats here. No one mentions me and stuff because they're jealous, and the day I'll be the queen, I'll either, you know, Khaleesi style, I'll either, you know, kiss everybody or decapitate everybody. I know that's bad to say. Then I removed it. I was like, why am I saying that? And then I see those scenes and stuff. I'm like, because connecting to the energy, know, these rituals and stuff, and some practices, of course, not to be repeated nowadays. We're more civil, right? This is why learning the power of compassion, the power of managing our emotions is so important, to avoid repeating all these cruel scenes. But for them, it was also a mark of power. Rooms and rooms and rooms and rooms and more rooms. Look at this. Wow. Okay, let's see what's in here. Oh, excuse me. Thank you. Hello. No, it's because someone on the other side. The impressive thing to know about this place that not a lot of people know is that all of this was reconstructed. Because when they constructed the dam and the lake and the Nile River, this was on the middle of the river, I think, or the lake, in the water. And so they had to move all this place for it not to be destroyed. So this huge architecture and structure, all of that you see, was reconstructed, was moved from a mountain to another, not far away, but where it wouldn't be obstructing and destroyed. So you see this is cut here, because all of the temple, they had to cut pieces of the rocks to be able to transport it. So when they would break, they would renovate it and put it back together, right? And the cartouche here, the cartouche showed that it's royal. Okay, only the royal family had the cartouche like this. So when you have a figure of a character and there's the cartouche next to it, then you know that it's royal families. And a Horus, gods and royals. The Temple of the Queens, of course. Say happy day for Sage and your family as well, because it's always better when we are together. Look at these beautiful queens.
So she's the queen, Nefertari. How could we know? Because of her cartouche in front of the crown and two goddesses blessing her. Goddess Hathor and Goddess Isis. Who's Isis? Who's Hathor? Just look in front of the forehead or the crown of each goddess. You will see her cartouche.
So in front of the Isis,
in front of Isis, you will find the throne or a chair, a sign of Goddess Isis, the goddess of throne. In front of Hathor, you will find the falcon, because Hathor means house of Horus, and Horus represented as a falcon. So you will see the falcon in front of her crown or her forehead in her cartouche. So that's how could we know who's Hathor, who's Isis.
Tony. Happy birthday, Tony.
We love you.
We love you.
Here it is, the Alibaba's lamp. Actually, that's so funny because I lost it's not funny, I lost one of my rings today. It was like an offering, I guess. But you know, it doesn't really matter, because what really matters is that we all find a way to make a decent living, that we all can be able to fulfill our dreams and our passions, you know. And this morning when I met you know, my last wish here, let's make it right here, to have a new society. You know, I'm all about community and a new world, but we still need our government. We still need to work all of together. And I wanted to make this edit to this video because one of the persons who was part of the video this morning told me, oh, if it's political, I don't want to be in it. And I understand, because when I started talking about the conflicts in Ukraine and stuff like that, I was like, oh, you know what, I don't want to make this birthday political. And then I was thinking about it in the bus, and I was like, but I do, because our world, we need the politics, we need to work all together with the governments, with, you know, all of our skills, spiritual communities, finance, everybody. And if there is one person I know, you know, who's able to combine all of this, and while integrating spirituality and peace in networking, it's Tony Robbins. And finding the people that you trust to be able to create a new world. And I was thinking about Ukraine and the conflicts, and no, we don't want to make it political because it's embarrassing, but yet if we don't talk about it, if we don't talk about these topics, nothing will change. It's so beautiful how the entire world right now is gathering against Russia, against, you know, the fact that they're attacking a country with no apparent justification. So we need to speak up, we need to speak our mind, we need to commit, be involved, you know. And so yeah, so that was my little wish, that hopefully you will want to and be supported in order to do that, and that we all change our society and our system. Happy birthday!
Feliz cumpleaños!
Feliz cumpleaños! Woo! Tony Robbins! Happy birthday!
Matriz. La matriz es un entramado, una red de todas las luces y colores, vibraciones y energías. Matter means matrix, and matrix means a wave, a tissue made of strings of light and colors, vibrations, energy, and patterns. It's a net, a web. El matriz es la red que nos une y crea a todos. Una red de luz. Matrix is a net that connects and creates us all. It's a net of light. Una red de estrellas y soles que se unen, creando la matriz cósmica. A matrix, a web of stars and suns that get together to create a cosmic matrix.
Hello everybody! How are you? This is Fanny. Happy Tuesday! I just got done watching the On Your Future Challenge with Dean Graziosi, Tony Robbins, and Jim Quick. It was awesome, and I was just talking to my friend Dani on the phone and asking her a question that I thought would be nice to share with you and ask you guys, because I'm making this second movie about Egypt that will be called Emerald Bay, in honor of the tablets of Emerald, because it's my trip to Egypt and all of that. I'm not going to make a long introduction. And you know, I wrote a message to Dean today while the challenge, because he was talking about COVID, how the challenge that COVID was when we started being from home. And I was like, actually, I would never have met them or discover about, you know, about mentoring or these programs if not for COVID and them pivoting and putting everything online. Because, you know, I was never really interested in going to a mentoring event. I did one about art. But anyways, and the fact that they were offering this for free actually opened the door that then led me to take those trainings and build my business, you know, from following the track of building my business and mostly never giving up. Everybody takes what they need. Some people, they will need the strategies. Some people, they will need the confidence. Some people, they will need that voice that tells you to never give up, you know, when your family is telling you to do something else, or whatever is it that you need in a mentor. The offer is so broad, wide, right? With so many people coming and everything, that it's changing your life. And so in parallel of me making this movie right now, I was posting the pictures from the Valley of the King. So I had so many pictures, and essentially this movie is for me, right? This is a selfish, everything that I created, my travel books, my travel videos that I made for Esteban from Peru, and this movie, essentially, every time I post a movie, I have like 5 views on YouTube. So thank you for my 5 faithful viewers. But essentially, it's a movie I'm making for me, to remember every single detail of my trip, you know, in 10 years, 20 years, show it to Esteban. So I was going to put as much, you know, all of my pictures, even if it's boring for some people to watch it. I don't really care. I'm making it for me and remember every single part of it. It's not going to replace taking a trip, because when you go there, when you travel to these sacred places, you connect with the energies, you meet people, you go away from home, you discover a new culture, you know. So even if I would put a lot of information, because on one hand, I'm like, it's not cool to post everything about the guides, you know, the tours and everything. This is what they make a living out of. And having tourists go there. If I post all of their content and tours and everything, people are going to think, oh, then I don't need to go to Egypt right now. But not at all, because if you were not planning on going to Egypt, or if you're stuck at home, or if you don't like to travel, or don't have the money or whatever, you are not going to go anyways, right? So you might as well have a movie that shows you everything. And for the people who are travel lovers and who want to go there, all it can do is to make you want to go there more, you know. I don't think, if you've traveled before, you know that pictures can't replace the actual experience of connecting with the places and all these art and seeing it for yourself. But it's a great beginning, right, to remember. So this was my first question in terms of ethics and towards the guides, showing their tours. Is this respectful? Which I think, you know, if I make a good promotion, being like, hey, these are the best guides, this is the tours I've used, I recommend them, like I did for Youssef and Sandra. Their tour is called Essence of the Stones. I've put their flyer in there with their phone number and everything. So it's a great promotion, essentially. Beautiful documentary, the same way I did with Matthias, that I believe, you know, we will have a memory from the event in Egypt forever, thanks to that movie. at the same time I want to keep some surprise, you know, for the people who are going there. But then my other question is about the energy, because these are tombs, right? The Valley of the Kings, these are tombs. So they were meant to be private. They were not even meant to be open to the public at all. They were meant to be closed, and for the mummy of the king or queen that passed away. So is it respectful to show all this to the world through the internet? So you're going to tell me they have thousands of visitors who go every day to see that? Yes, but they're building the economy, the local economy at the same time, and they have the power to close it should they want to. While it's out on the internet, it's exposing all of these private sacred places to everybody in the world. So is it correct to do that or not? So in terms of the sacred place, they already opened it. I mean, but as of the point of view of an artist, that I know how much exposure is important. If you're making a whole, imagine some Egyptians dedicated their entire life building one of these rooms or a city or whatever. So what a honor. This one is 3 times. Let's see here. I just copy pasted all my pictures. Now I'm selecting which ones I'm leaving or not. I'm selecting a little bit, but as an artist, I know that your art lives forever through the audience's eyes. If you don't have an audience or nobody to see it, the art dies. So they did not do it in this intention because they believed that the gods were almighty and seeing everything. So essentially they did this for one person, the power of doing something just for one person who passed away to help them transition. But now as this culture has disappeared, we're making it a heritage that the world needs to know, so the art can come back. You see the difference of the art, right? From a new store and what they had from before. So here is where I am. This is all my pictures I haven't selected yet, you know, removed maybe. But so that's my questions, right? Is it correct for the guides to post that list? It's a good promotion, I believe, to encourage people to go there. Just like the challenge, just because they're doing a 5-day challenge and it's free doesn't mean that you know everything. It's not the same as actually buying the project next, buying the course while you're building your own business at the same time. In 5 days, you're not building a business in 5 days. If you buy the project next, then it's going to take you 2-3 months while you're building your offer. You have time to reflect. You're not live here trying to listen to everything. You can pause it, come back to it. So it's the same for the movie. It's going to be a 2 or 3 hours movie. You can pause and come back. But if you want to take a trip to Egypt, it's there. There is everything, all the typical tour and all of that. It's there to see. So, and this sacred versus artistic point of view that is honoring the heritage. That's kind of my question. What do you think? I'd like to hear your comments.
Lucky having minimal moves, so enjoy it. Feel free. Go ahead.
Morning.
Hello, good morning.
So we can explain to you now for how to make alabaster. 3 different colors. We have here white. Can you see? This is brown. And this is a green color. So we bring the stone from this mountain here about 25 kilometers. 5D, go and back. Then, this is artist here. They will come and dispose the makeshift, the vase, the makeshift, the statue, bowl, ashtray, smaller size and the bigger size. Will be like the shape. Look at the shape, please, how it's happening. Can you hold it? Nice. So, how many kilo or how many pounds? 15. Pounds or kilo?
Kilo.
No, less.
No, let's see them 8 kilos. 8. No, let me try.
More.
Yeah, more. 12.
10, bravo.
Oh, you didn't give me the chance.
10, say 10.
Yeah, 10.
So it is before we finish. Okay? After that, my friend, so we carve it at the base like this by linen and the glue and alabaster powder like this, and then leave it for the sun for 2-3 days to get more stronger, and then start to make a hole here, but by hand drill like this. Go. Hey, can you try? Me? Yes. I'm scared. Inside. So ready, everybody, make a video, please.
Yes, everybody.
Basta! Go! Yes! Hey, you! Come on. Let's go again. After that, yeah?
I want to try it.
Pasta, pasta! Thank you, artist! Excuse me, big hand for my stuff, please. After that, my friend, after that, so we can make a polish it by fire like this, and then to get it by sandstone to be smooth, and put it in Egyptian oven for 25 minutes, about 150 degrees, and then you write the wax, it's made colored china. Who said 10 kilo? You. Can you hold now? It's 250 grams.
Wow.
So look at this.
That's pretty light.
It's same, yeah. Look at this. It's same, handmade. This is machine made. It's marble, not alabaster. Marble, it's heavy, machine made. Handmade takes 6 or 7 day work each vase. But machine made just in 20 minutes. So can you hold it? It's heavy.
Can I carry it? Is it heavy? Oh, it's super light. This is crazy. Can I try this? This is super light. Very thin. This is so thin. Look at this work.
In the market you find the guys, you sell the piece like this one for $1, €1. Look at this piece, is the fake pieces under resin, not real stone. But the real stone just a gray color, no black. Gray, it's harder one. So look please, can I make a test here?
No.
Thank you. And then by the chisel he carved it what he will do like this one. And then he put in colors. The color is never ever moved. Look as the real quality of the queens, Cleopatra or Ramses or everything. Can you see? So thank you so much for listening, my friend. Before we go inside, can you big hand for my stuff, please?
Yes. Thank you. Super interesting.
Follow me, please, inside. I have hibiscus cold, tea, coffee. What do you like it? First, we start by lemon juice. How many lemon juice you want? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lemon juice. 6 lemon. Hibiscus cold.
Please.
1 كركدي. Tea. 1 شاي. Cola. Sprite. Okay. Can I explain to you 1 minute and then I leave your time to see everything?
Okay.
We start by the section first, is we call it limestone pieces, but different shape and different size. For example, Tutankhamun, Cleopatra, Nefertiti. Look at this, please. Here is named Cleopatra.
Can you follow me, please?
Wow.
Look at your group. It's same, my friend, Cleopatra, no? It is, yeah. Same.
I thought it was Nefertiti.
I have. It is Nefertiti, my friend.
Iriana.
Nefertiti, yeah. So, and I have here my friend, in the table here I have, follow me please.
Le decimos Nefer.
Excuse me, around the table. Do you know this is the tea light candle by the pyramids? Yes. And also here we can carve the name, if you're interested to carve the name by English or Arabic or hieroglyphic name, we can do it. That's for 2-3 minutes. The Mr. Pablo Picasso, he do it. Follow me please inside. Get it ready please. Round the table here.
Wow.
And that's one here, my friend. This is the bowl. Yes, you can use it for eat. Put it inside the oven or microwave. That's one you can use with the drink, hot and cold drink. Wash it by machine wash. Follow me please inside. Everybody say wow, big discount, okay?
Can I record your weight?
Okay.
I want to record it and
Can
say
you follow
wow.
me? You. Yes. Hold this here. So put it in the lamp, yeah? And the color is beautiful, say big wow.
Wow.
20% discount, it's amazing. Second color, brown honey. So put inside, please.
Wow.
50% discount, amazing. The last color, it's the green colors of alabaster.
Wow!
Amazing, 100%, but tomorrow, yeah? Tomorrow. So, tomorrow. Yeah, you come tomorrow. That's one here, my friend. This is the tea light candle. So we can make a test at the tea light candle. Tea light candle, each one of ancient Egyptian people have a one. Make the light in the tomb and temple for a long time before for ancient Egyptian people. So we need you now. Come. Hey, can you make video please for your mom?
Oh, yeah.
What's your name?
Melody.
Love you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Thank you so much. ليه خالد على السرير ما أنا شهد نحن في واحد لا هي صح. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
Feel at home. No hard feeling. No pushing. Excuse me. If you're interested to buy anything, here we accept the credit card, Visa, MasterCard, American dollars. No charge for the credit.
Can I stay and work here?
Yes, and take that. If you have any questions, me and my brother and son ask about what you like to question.
I want to know about is it hard enough to travel with it?
We have the bubble rabbit very well for transplantation.
Yeah?
If you get 8 pieces, we can make a bubble rabbit very, very well for transplantation. Yes. Okay? Take
We don't airport through the back and luggage like this we care about.
Wow. That's cool. Yeah, I like it. That's a good feeling, right? Oh, they kept this too. If you're wondering why all the faces are scratched, during the Christian invasions, like they came here for I think a century, he said, they forbid all the temples. So not only they closed the temples, but they had to scratch all of their faces. They destroyed everything. The cult. My question is, if you're so sure of your faith, why do you have to destroy others? You know, if you're so sure of yourself and your confidence, you don't have to go and destroy others to make it more valid. I mean, what were they scared of? You know, that the greatness would prevail. And so beautiful. It was great information that they gave us yesterday, because now every time I see the goddess, I look at the cartouche and I see the throne. I know it's Isis, or I see the falcon. I know it's Hathor. And you see in many places because at first I was like, so sometimes on the same wall you have the same god appears many times, right? It's like you have Horus, 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 or Isis, Isis, Isis. And they say because the Egyptians, they believed the gods, they were everywhere, so they had no problem believing they could be at 2 or 3 different places at the same time, because it's an energy that transcends space and time. So another awesome part that I forgot to mention yesterday was about history, right? Because the guide said, you know, they left, instead of renovating, restoring, they left history as it is, you know. And the moral of most of the Egyptians also, that evil is always there, and you cannot erase the darkness. But what we can do, you know, history repeats itself. But why? Because we need to be educated. If you're educated, you understand the history. You understand the cause. Why would people react like this? Why would there be conflict? If you understand the roots of it, then you can change the outcome. You can establish new strategies, so the outcome would be different. This is why it's important to learn history, not just because to understand why the cycles repeat themselves, but to avoid that the cycles of war repeat themselves, and that we transcend it. And actually in chapter 3 of this story of Horus trying to revenge his father, in the end they decide not to kill the evil, but to keep it under control, to transcend, not to punish crime with crime, right? So that tells us also, yes, that, wow, oh my god, look at this. You can't even, in pictures, you can't really see the greatness of it. Like on the camera it looks kind of like okay, but when you're in real life it's like it's huge. Just like the mandalas, right? It's like you can, when you see the pictures you often overlook them, but when you see them in real and you can feel the energy, it's a lot more powerful.
Wasn't Barry amazing yesterday? Oh my god. And so was Pace Morby. Oh my god. But tell me, Barry, I was watching the comments. Pace crushed it, watching Pace. And then when Barry said, do it uncomfortable. Do it imperfectly. Do it when you're scared. Who got a little wake-up call? Who even felt a little uncomfortable in your seat? Like, she's so right? I love Barry too. She's so good. But what I want to do is remind you of some things that could keep you moving forward, to not give up, to not be one of those that maybe tomorrow you go, well, maybe it's not for me. Because if you know it's for you, if you're still here, you have a desire for more. I've already asked if you're meant for more. Everybody agreed. If we're meant for more, then we got to do something to gain the capabilities to get more. So we talk about the two voices. In our head, you can do it, you can't, right? I'm good enough, I'm not good enough, right? But what about this? What if we visualize? Here's what I do know for sure. If you leave your life the way it is, it doesn't mean your life is horrific by any means. And please know, I'm not saying that. But if you're meant for more, then you know there's another level, right? There's a change, there's a shift. Here's what I know. We can surely predict our future with one thing. Change nothing. Change nothing. You can really predict where you will be in a year from now if you leave things the same. Is that true? Right? We know if we leave it the same, it will be the same next year. But what if we just took a moment and visualized if you took an uncomfortable action? You gain the skills. You keep moving forward. You go against the grain. You step out of the norm. In our VIP last night, we were talking to some amazing people, and one amazing woman's been in a career for so long that it feels so uncomfortable. She knows she has to do it. She is doing it. She's a part of Launchpad already. She's doing it. But she knows she has to step outside what she's been doing so long. It's a little uncomfortable. But simultaneously, she knows if she leaves it the way it is, it will stay exactly where it is and be the same in 1 year. And I'm guessing most of you don't want to be in the same exact spot next year. Is that true? So what I'm going to encourage you today, though, is throughout the day, kind of visualize if you did take the uncomfortable action. What could life look like in a year from now? What could it look like if we were back here celebrating? What would you be doing? What kind of control on your time would you have? Who would you be impacting? Who would you be sharing? Would you be in the middle of a workshop or a mastermind, or would your book be out or your podcast be out? Would you be doing something to share your life experience because someone needs you? Like I shared yesterday morning, the guy knew what screw to turn. You know what screws to turn inside your target. We just got to unlock it, give you a framework. Remember what we've been saying. You are enough. You know enough. We've been doing this long enough to see. You just need to know where to start, and you need the framework. And that's what we're providing for you. I love challenges. These allow me to get in front of people from 100 plus countries, hundreds of thousands of people. But I can get about an hour a day with you to show you what's possible, to open your eyes, to be inspired. The reason we create courses and trainings is because they transform. They get you to work. They get you to implement and make it real. So I want you to be inspired. I want you to be motivated. But take the actions you need to take to move forward. Because being in this industry made me realize one thing, and then I'll end it here, and I want to do a couple shout outs. We want to get to the end of our lives and feel like we have a life that was fully lived, don't we? No one would ever want to get to the end of our lives and meet the man or the woman we could have been. When I think about that, that is one of my biggest driving forces in life. I just don't want to get to the end and feel like I missed it. And I would rather do things imperfect. I would rather try and fail than play small on the outside and wish I could get a do-over. Because I see you, Mary Lee, and thank you for being so honest, right? We don't get a second chance. And one last thing I want to share with you as you're moving forward today. Some people take action because they want to move towards pleasure. Right? That's like, who am I supposed to be? I'm meant for more. Absolutely, you are. Some people get to take action because they want to move away from something that's uncomfortable. Now, I'll share this last thing. Stepping out, doing your own thing, having the spotlight on you a little bit, depending on what direction you go. Telling people in your family, I want to do something for me for once. That's a little uncomfortable. I get that. But wouldn't it be way more uncomfortable to get to the end of your life and realize you played small because of those stupid things, those silly things? I know they're not silly in the moment, but I think at the end of our lives, they'd be silly. Right, Carlos? Right? We get to the end of our lives, if someone said, if you looked and saw a video of the person you could have been, I think our only wish would be, could I go back? Can I get another shot? I'll be crazy. I'll be more joyful. I'll be more bold. I'll be more courageous. I don't care. I want to do me. Can I do me over? And I think we got that opportunity to start today and say, I'm doing me. I'm doing you the way that I was meant to be. So I just want to give a little inspiration before we start today is don't let the old beliefs sink back in. They usually happen around day 4. This is your time. This is your moment. And we get to make decisions, and I hope we get the opportunity to work together for quite some time. So you guys ready for day 4? I see a cat heart. I can tell you're ready.
Stand before the gates and their guardians. Command thy entrance by these words. I am the light. In me there is no darkness. Free am I of the bondage of night. Open thou the way of the 12 and the 1, so I may pass to the realm of wisdom. I am the light. For me are no barriers. Open, I command, by the secret of secrets. Edom Elohim Sabeatsu Adon. Then, if thy words have been truths of the highest, open for thee the barriers will fall.
You sure you know what you're doing, buddy?
I'm sure.
Then do what you gotta do.
Sure you're not gonna miss this guy? When he's gone, all that's left is me.
What if problems are the greatest gifts of your life? What if they were the very things sitting there to get you to step to the next level where you're going to experience more of who you truly are? The story of our life is not the story we lived. The greatest story of life is the comeback. Life challenges us when we stop growing. Life gives us a challenge to make us grow. The challenge is here now.
You know, at the end of the day, what Tony did was got me out of my head and into my heart and just made me more comfortable who I am.
It's absolutely life-changing.
I feel like I have unleashed this inner version of me that I never knew was there.
I started making more money. I started working less.
It's been transformational.
Tell me, what's your most destructive or limiting belief?
I cannot be everything that I want to be because I am a girl.
What's the truth?
I can do anything.
Give her a hand for that, ladies and gentlemen. You want to change your life? You want to get out of suffering? Trade your expectations for appreciation, and your whole life will change in that moment. Because the minute you start to appreciate, suffering ends. Do this right. It really is effortless. Write down some limiting identity, limiting emotion, something that's getting your way this time to break through. You want to turn it into a great metaphor of breakthrough. All right, make your move. Make your move. Say yes. Say yes. What if your worst day was actually your best day? What if the most painful day in your life could be converted into your best day? It can. But you have to change your focus. You have to find an empowering meaning, and you got to make a decision to take a different kind of action. What if you raised your standard for playfulness, for energy, for vitality? What if instead of just walking through life, you danced through it, you laughed through it, you celebrated through it? This is a new beginning for your life. This is taking your standard to a new level. This is embodying it at a whole new level. It's all happening for us, my friends, not to us.
I see I see you walking through a dream. I see you, my light in darkness, breathing hope of a new life. Now I live through you and you through me, enchanting. I pray in my heart that this dream never ends. I see me through your eyes, breathing your life, flying high. That's what happens when you don't own the rights. So you have to sing your own song. I hope you like it. That's my voice. Oh my god.
I was going through a tough time. Life didn't taste the same until I tried a shot of Terramana tequila.
Like the way we write math, for instance, right? So we write math we have very specific, fairly strict, approaches axioms, right? So that we go by. And so, for instance, we have axioms in dimension that starts with a dot that doesn't exist called dimension 0, and you make a bunch of dots together, make a line, right? The teacher went to the blackboard and did that. As soon as he put a dot and said it didn't exist, I was lost. I was already gone, because from the holistic approach, the dot, if it's on the blackboard, is because something's happening. It's existing. Sure. It's not, the idea that it doesn't have a dimension is a concept of man. If I shrunk down to the atomic structure of the chalk on that blackboard, it's a whole universe happening down there. Right? There's billions of atoms that make up that chalk.
And that little dot.
And that little dot. And there's billions of atoms that makes up that blackboard. And if I shrunk myself to that size, it would be like a universe, right? Wow. And so it's okay, so the concept that it doesn't have volume is only a concept of man, right? So you have to be careful right away how, yes, you can use various, axioms, concept to write your math, right? Concept of physics and so on.
Right.
But you got to make sure that you don't forget the assumptions you made. And if those assumptions are concepts of man, or if these assumptions are concepts of the universe, is the universe thinking like you're thinking? Right? So then you make a line with the dots, and you call it dimension 1, and then you make 4 lines, you make a plane, and you call it dimension 2. And we write a lot of physics in 2 dimensions. And then you slap 6 of these planes together and make a cube, and you call it dimension 3, and then you say, oh, it has volume, now it exists.
Yeah.
But all you've done is in your theory there, all you've done is you've done non-existence to the third, right? You haven't, or to the fourth, from the dot to the line to the 2-dimensional plane to the 3-dimensional world. Yes, you've enclosed volume with a plane that doesn't exist, right? Which you've made with lines that don't exist, which you've made with a dot that doesn't exist. So you don't have existence yet. You haven't defined it.
So what is existence?
So that occurred to me when I was 10, and I realized the only way to solve this is to realize that the only thing that exists is the dot. That the dot can be subdivided, and there's some fractal nature to the particle, to the dot, to the point.
So you're saying like a cell or a dot or whatever, you can break down and break down and break down
Exactly.
To infinity.
Exactly. Exactly.
And is there a lesser and smaller particle or atom or whatever?
There's nothing in physics that tells you that you wouldn't be able to break it down to infinity.
Really?
In fact, there's a lot in physics that are saying that's exactly what the universe does. Like, for instance, in black holes, you know, at the center of a black hole, you have what's called a singularity. Not the mathematical singularity at the event horizon. At the center, you have a singularity that has infinite density. So, you know, the idea, and there's a lot of infinities that show up in physics everywhere, and physicists in general try to avoid them or ignore them or get rid of them, but they show up. And in
mathematics too.
In
right?
mathematics,
isn't pi like infinite or something? It's like...
Well, that's yes, exactly. And there's many constants like this, but as well there is a natural behavior of material. Like, for instance, like you know, this is accumulation of small things.
Yes, this table.
This table.
Yeah.
So your accumulation of small things, right? There's a 50 to 100 trillion cells in your body.
Wow.
Right now. And, you know, that's not a small number. That's a large number.
And what is one cell made up of?
And then one cell is made up of about 100 trillion atoms.
And then what's one atom made up of?
Well, that's debatable. You see, it's made of protons and electrons and neutrons, okay, which neutrons are like, you know, disguised proton. If you scatter them out, they become proton again. And, you know, so you got protons and electrons, basically, and these are made of subatomic particles, okay, that we're trying to understand using accelerators, breaking protons. My opinion is that it's not the most effective way to understand what a proton is. It's like taking a Swiss watch and slamming it with the huge hammer, you know, and then when you got all the pieces apart, like trying to figure out how it was working before you slammed it, right?
They are about to enter an intermediate period. They decided to inscribe the inside of the pyramids with the so-called Book of the Dead to assure that its magic power will be given to the king if the priest didn't have the capability to do the ritual.
This is
the official story about why did they decide suddenly in the first dynasty to add the pyramid text inside, and there are no inscriptions inside the other pyramids. They must have anything like explanation that it's something symbolic, but we believe every design has a function. So my understanding is sound. Sound vibration to isolate each chamber alone. And I will give you also a small idea. Iaru. Remember when I told you the Sphinx was called Ruti? When we were at the Sphinx, for those who remember, this is the Ru. Iaru means heaven. It's represented by fields and gardens and things like that. Another word here we have, Jidu. Jidu is the city that is dedicated to Osiris. Osir named Jidu. Osiris, the lord of Jidu. So here the word has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 signs. Okay? These 5 signs has one that is an ideogram. It's the Jid pillar. Jid. That's where Jidu is coming from that sign. So the rest here is the serpent, J, and then the hand, D, and then the quail, U. So these are the phonetic complements that helps us to pronounce the word. Jidu, Jidu. Then what is this? This is a symbol of a city. It's silent. We don't pronounce it. But it's added here as a demonstrative sign. So it specifies. Jidu is what? Jidu is a city. Wow. Alhamdulillah. So The word in the ancient Egyptian language, which by the way not called hieroglyphs, hieroglyphs is a Greek word that means hieroglyphs or the holy inscriptions. The ancient Egyptian language is known as Medu Neter, the words of Neter. Neter can be translated into divine or God, the divine words, or Neter can be the source for the word also Natur, which is nature, so the words of nature. And this is starting to take more attention now, since we can find all the things are from nature, birds, plants, so on. So Medu Neter is the ancient name. It's divided to 3 different types of signs: ideogram, phonogram, and demonstrative signs.
So this is from the Book of the Dead? This is from the Book of the Dead?
They call it by mistake the Book of the Dead, but it's called Coming Out to the Light.
Oh, really? Wow.
It's called Coming Out to the Light? Yeah, it's coming out to the light for resurrection, because coming out to the day. The one walking to the day. Perim Heru. So like when the sun wastes in the dark and then rises again. So you're going to come back again. And that's what this book is called. What helps you to fill the cycle and resurrect.